Since when did the name Primm, once a vibrant oasis in the desert, become a common way to refer to a ghost town? No one is surprised anymore when they hear about the collapse of Primm. It had become obvious, as if that devastation was meant to happen. In the 1990s, Primm was once the most bustling place. Vehicles are bustling, neon lights are shining brightly, and people are flocking to shop, gamble, and relax. But if you go there today, you'll only see empty parking lots, closed casinos, and dusty shopping malls, as if approaching the end of the world. Primm is like a mirror reflecting what no one in Vegas wants to see: the future. A future where casinos are deserted, hotels can no longer operate, and dreams once built on light are fading in silence. Why did a town that once thrived on Vegas decline before it? Was Primm just one step ahead? And is Las Vegas quietly following the same path? In today's video, we're going to Primm to understand why this place could be a prophecy of Las Vegas's decline. Primm Outlet. Once the first gateway to Las Vegas, is now a graveyard of consumer dreams. This area isn't just empty, it's also a mirror reflecting the dark future that awaits Vegas. There was a time when Primm was the designer oasis of the West. In the early 2000s, Primm was among the top 5 largest outlets in the United States, featuring around 100 famous brands such as Nike, Coach, Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger, and H&M. From Los Angeles to Vegas, everyone stops at least once to enter the world of extravagant consumerism. But in 2025, amidst tens of thousands of square meters of campus, only one small store, Sand Thrift USA, remained, barely operating like the last faint breath of a glorious era. That collapse didn't happen overnight. As the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the region, borders closed, tourist caravans from California came to a halt, and revenue plummeted significantly. But the scariest thing is that when the economy reopened, people didn't come back. Online shopping is booming, fuel costs are soaring, and the local experience trend is making desert outlets obsolete. Primm, once the first stop on the journey to Vegas, is now a sign for everyone that they're almost home. The Primm Outlet Mall, which once nurtured the shopping joy of millions, now seems to have become a graveyard for consumer dreams. Everything here is still working, the elevators are still running, the lights are still on, and the shops aren't locked. However, like a soulless screen, everything was erected as if trying to cling to a faded past that was gone. A 68-year-old security guard said that sometimes he hears the bell ringing, but when he gets closer, there's no one there. In an eerily silent atmosphere, each dust-covered brick seemed to hold the final memories of a bygone era of consumerism. Primm didn't just lose a shopping mall, it lost the collective memory of the joy of shopping, the invisible thread that once connected millions of people through the shared dream of ownership. Once symbols of success and happiness, designer bags now lie abandoned in empty stores, becoming relics of an era when trust could be bought with a 50% discount. Local officials and Affinity Gaming once promised a Primm 2.0, a revitalization project with new restaurants, upgraded resorts, and a $4 million billboard off the highway. But to this day, it's all just a plan hanging in the desert, fading like rotten billboards by the roadside. People still talk about hope, but even neon lights can't illuminate a land that has run dry of faith. Primm is now a still image of an America after the consumerist boom, where the light is no longer inviting, but only evokes a past that cannot be returned to. Every wall, every passage, whispers the same testimony. We were once crowded, once trusting, once alive. When shopping malls become graveyards of memory, how many other cities will quietly fade away? And if even the consumer dream, which once sustained the faith of an entire nation, is collapsing here, what will fall next? This is just one aspect. Because right next to that empty mall, the casinos, the heart of Primm, were also dying in their own bright light. Primm was once the prelude to Las Vegas. Today, that melody still plays, but no one wants to dance anymore. That's the first feeling when you step into Primm Valley Resort, the only casino still operating in the town once considered the Golden Gateway to Las Vegas. Here, everything seems to remain the same. The red carpet stretches out, the chandeliers sparkle, and the sound of slot machines occasionally rises like the breath of a body slowly losing its vitality. But if you just take a step back, you'll realize the soul of this place left long ago. Buffalo Bill's, a symbol of the Wild West, ceased regular operations after 31 years of existence. The colossal building with its dome and roller coaster once held a world record, but now it only opens on special occasions, for concerts or rare events. Whiskey Pete's, the medieval fortress-like sibling, closed for good in December, leaving the grounds cold and empty in the desert. Only Primm Valley Resort remains, the sole place retaining a few final lights, both to prove it's not entirely dead and to hide the truth that no one wants to play anymore. The reason is not difficult to predict. As the number of visitors from California plummeted in the first half of 2025, peripheral casinos like Primm became the first victims. Tourists no longer want to stop halfway when they're only 35 miles from Las Vegas, where the lights are brighter, the amenities are more convenient, and dreams are still sold at a premium. That change didn't just stifle revenue, it also completely eroded trust. Because live casinos don't thrive on the money people spend, but on the feeling they want to return. And when that feeling disappears, all that's left is a simulation of a memory. The slot machines were still ringing, but no one was sitting there anymore. The soft jazz music was still playing, but there was no one left to listen. A middle-aged waiter said, "We still turn on the lights every night, not to welcome customers, but to hide the emptiness." That saying encapsulates Primm's reality. A place that once brought joy to thousands now only struggles to rekindle its own illusion. This decline is not just a business issue. It is a symbol of the collapse of collective belief. The belief that Las Vegas, no matter how remote or small, is still a place where you can win, or at least dream. When Primm lost that meaning, it not only lost tourists, but also lost the very identity that once made people stop. Now, every nightfall, the golden lights of Primm Valley Resort still shine on the grey sand, a silent reminder that sometimes a city doesn't fall from losing money, but because no one believes in its magic anymore. Is it not the loss of faith, rather than the loss of capital, that causes a casino to collapse? And if Primm has lost its soul, can Las Vegas, a brighter heart, avoid a similar fate? Not every time the lights are on does it mean the economy is doing well. In the desert region of southern Nevada, Primm is becoming a stark warning about the development model that once propelled Las Vegas to its peak and is now plunging it into crisis. For decades, Las Vegas has thrived on a simple formula, selling cheap illusions to make a lot of money. It's the cheap thrills model, $5 buffets, almost free hotel rooms, and the feeling that anyone can win. But that era is over. Today, the average room rate on the Strip has surpassed $180 per night, not including resort fees of $50, $60 and a room tax of 13.38%. According to Travel Plus Leisure 2025, over 60% of visitors describe Vegas as a destination that's overpriced and not worth the actual value. The model that was once based on generosity has now become a symbol of greed. Primm, a tiny border town, was the starting point of that downfall. As Buffalo Bill's, Whiskey Pete's, and most of the outlet malls here dimmed their lights, the flow of customers from California that once sustained the chain of budget resorts also disappeared. The reason isn't just post-COVID or a consumer crisis. It's a sign of a deeper shift. Tourists are no longer seeking Vegas for a gamble, but for a reliable experience. And in an economy where trust is the currency, Las Vegas is losing value every day. Ironically, as this city tries to glamorize its image to attract high-spending tourists, it loses what makes it special. Corporations like MGM Resorts and Caesars Entertainment are pursuing a VIP-first model, investing in sky lounges, premium suites, and exclusive shows, while the middle class, once the backbone of Vegas, is being sidelined. The Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority reported a 12% decrease in repeat visitors compared to 2019, particularly among the 45 to 65 age group, the most loyal customer segment for the past 3 decades. They didn't come back because they no longer felt welcome. The solution doesn't lie in building more hotels or increasing service fees, but in restoring a sense of respect for consumers. Many major brands have begun to realize this. Hilton Hotels launched the Clear Stay pricing campaign, promising transparency in all costs from the moment of booking. Local resorts are testing Caribbean-style all-inclusive models to rebuild trust. That's a direction Las Vegas could learn from, regaining loyalty before things slip too far. Because ultimately, an economy doesn't collapse because of a loss of money, but because of a loss of confidence. And if even Las Vegas, a symbol of hope and luck, loses that, who will still believe that the American dream exists? The decline of Primm is a microcosm of a chain reaction that cannot be stopped. When Buffalo Bill's and Whiskey Pete's closed, hundreds of jobs disappeared and the number of visitors from California dropped sharply. Other outlet malls in Jean, Henderson, and even the South Strip area began to experience similar effects. According to the Nevada Retail Report 2025, total retail sales in Clark County decreased by 12% in the second quarter, the lowest level since the pandemic. What seemed like a small decline was, in an economy almost entirely dependent on tourism, the first sign of instability. From the edge of the desert, the emptiness gradually spread toward the center. When rest stops like Primm lose customers, the service supply chain, gas, restaurants, mid-range hotels, contracts simultaneously. The resulting consequences were a decrease in cash flow into the Strip, central casinos cutting staff, and the save, cut, lose experience reduce customers cycle officially began. Each link that falls away causes Vegas to lose another layer of its soul. Behind the numbers and statistics tables lies a simple truth. Visitors no longer feel welcome. The feeling of Vegas is for me disappeared, replaced by Vegas is for someone else. And as the feeling of being excluded spreads, no billion-dollar advertisements, shows, or casinos can compensate. Those who once believed in Las Vegas, drivers, hotel staff, retirees trying their luck, are gradually leaving. They brought not only money, but also faith, the only fuel that keeps this city alive. And like any domino effect, when the retaining force at the edge is lost, the central part is just waiting for its turn to collapse. The solution doesn't lie in continuing to build higher or expand, but in strengthening from the ground up, reinvesting in the community, local infrastructure, and the people who make up Vegas. Some corporations are starting to understand this. MGM Resorts launched its Belong Here program in mid-2025, committing to rehire affected workers in marginalized areas, provide training, and bring them back into the tourism supply chain. That could be the first attempt to rebuild the first domino that fell. Because if Primm is just a crack in the gateway, then Las Vegas is standing right on the brink of a real collapse. The question is, when the center collapses, will anyone be strong enough to rebuild the entire row? Not every collapse is measured in dollars. Some are measured by the fate of ordinary people, those who once believed they were contributing to the illumination of Las Vegas. When Primm turned off the lights, hundreds of workers lost their jobs. No one is reporting it widely. There was no farewell speech. They just quietly disappeared, like the fading neon lights in the Nevada desert. Once dealers, room service staff, waiters, maintenance engineers, they are the people who operate that giant machine of chance. When Buffalo Bill's and Whiskey Pete's closed, they lost not only income, but also their identity. I've worked here for over 20 years, a former employee shared with 8 News Now. I never thought the day would come when I'd have to leave town. Stories like that are no longer rare. After the pandemic, housing costs in Clark County increased by over 35% in just 5 years. Meanwhile, the homelessness rate in Las Vegas increased by 12% in 2025. HUD Annual Report, 2025. Behind the bright lights of the Strip is another Las Vegas, where those who once served others' dreams now have to sleep in old RVs or pitch tents along I-15. It's a bitter paradox. The city built on the illusion of prosperity is making its creators poor. When Primm collapsed, it didn't just take jobs with it, it also took the self-respect of a generation. A former employee said, "We used to be proud to work where people seek good fortune. Now, we just hope to find a peaceful place to stay." In light of this situation, many non-profit organizations in Nevada are trying to fill the gaps left by corporations. The Hospitality Retraining Program, funded by the Caesars Foundation, has helped hundreds of former casino employees transition to jobs in logistics, healthcare, and community food service. Those small initiatives can't change the big picture yet, but at least they bring back something Vegas has lost: the feeling of being cared for. Because sometimes the price of prosperity isn't measured in glass towers or billions in profit, but in the people living in their shadow. A city can recreate light, but can it recreate kindness? And if the people who once lit up Las Vegas are now lost in the dark, what does the American dream mean anymore? There's something strange happening in America. Places that were once havens of joy now wear the same face: empty, tired, and full of skepticism. Primm, Florida, Atlantic City, 3 different names, but they all tell the same story. When an economy is built on emotion, if trust collapses, everything will follow. Florida was once the winter dream of North America. With millions of Canadian tourists flocking to the state each year, it brings in over $6.6 billion in winter tourism spending. Visit Florida Report 2024. But by 2025, the beaches will be deserted, and a series of hotels in Orlando and Miami will have to close on a rotating basis due to a lack of staff. According to the latest data from Visit Florida Q2 2025, international visitors decreased by 17%, with Canadian visitors alone dropping by over 25%. Reason? It's not just the weather or the economy. That's emotion, political controversies, rising ticket prices, and a feeling of being unwelcome are causing Florida to lose its soul, just like Primm once did. In the eastern United States, Atlantic City, the Las Vegas of the Atlantic, is also on the same path. Once boasting 12 thriving casinos, only 9 remain today, with revenue down 27% over the past decade. New Jersey Gaming Report 2025. Coastal boulevards are now lined with "for sale" signs. Luxury hotels are only open on weekends, and casinos that were once bustling now close before midnight. The locals call that place the city of dreams that never come back to life. From Florida to Atlantic City, and now Primm, the common thread isn't geographical location, but a model of belief. Every place has once thrived on the feeling that here you deserve joy. But when joy becomes a product, when everything, from plane tickets and parking to a cup of coffee, is priced, people start to leave. And when they left, not only did the money disappear, but so did the very meaning of those cities' existence. Because ultimately, whether in Florida, Atlantic City, or Las Vegas, all the lights need to be lit with genuine emotion. And when those emotions fade, an entire economy can plunge into darkness. If both Florida and Atlantic City have fallen, will Las Vegas escape that fate? Is Hey Primm just a reminder that in the game called the American Dream, every place will eventually lose faith? There's an ironic paradox playing out across the Nevada desert. While empty casinos and deserted shopping malls are still cooling down, corporations continue to talk about growth, new investment, and tourism recovery. But under those lights, the ground was slowly cracking, and it seemed none of them were willing to look down. MGM Resorts, Caesars Entertainment, and Affinity Gaming, 3 names once considered pillars of the casino industry, are still announcing a series of reinvestment projects in the Nevada-California border region. From the Primm 2.0 concept to the plan to rebuild the outlet malls, everything is promoted with flowery language: rebirth, sustainable development, new beginnings. But the numbers don't lie. According to CNBC 2025, the combined debt of MGM and Caesars exceeded $26 billion, while revenue from rooms and entertainment in Las Vegas decreased by 15% compared to 2024. LVCVA Quarterly Report Q2 2025. Even in that context, corporations poured hundreds of millions of dollars into expansion projects, as if they were trying to prove that glitter could hide the cracks. What they don't realize is that this model is outdated. Las Vegas once thrived on hospitality, but as it became corporatized, everything became a balance sheet. Employees are being replaced by algorithms, customers are being segmented into profit pools, and experiences are being priced through cruise upgrade packages. A former casino manager in Primm once said in a television report, "We used to know every guest, every smile. Now everything is just data." That statement is an informal indictment of the entire industry. In the race to build higher, Vegas forgot an old lesson. The higher you build, the easier it is to break. Sphere, a $2.3 billion entertainment venue, was touted as a symbol of the future. But its first quarter revenue didn't cover operating costs. Bloomberg Entertainment Review 2025. Meanwhile, a series of areas outside the Strip, from Primm to North Las Vegas, continue to fall into a dead zone, with no visitors, no investment, and no realistic recovery plans. For these corporations, success has become an end in itself, detached from the reality of the surrounding community. Primm, though small, pointed out what Las Vegas refused to face. The lights can blind us, but they can't hide the cracks beneath our feet. When a city loses its ability to see itself, any plans for regeneration are just an illusion. How many more cities and industries will become ghost towns before corporations learn that lesson? And when the lesson comes, will there be anyone left to listen? Primm is not just a forgotten town in the middle of the desert. It's a mirror reflecting the future of Las Vegas, and perhaps of the entire United States. What was once a gateway to dreams of fortune and misfortune has now become a question mark for an entire development model. Because not every collapse is noisy. There are cities that are dying in silence, even with the lights still on. When the casinos are empty, the shopping malls are deserted, and the people who once kept those lights on have to leave. The question is no longer, how long can Las Vegas survive? But rather, does anyone still believe in the American dream that this place once represented? Primm answered with its silence. Perhaps the lights of Vegas will continue to shine for a few more years, but if no one believes in what it represents anymore, then that light will only be an illusion, a flash before the real night falls. And perhaps the scariest thing isn't a city collapsing, but when it still stands, but has no soul left. All content in this video is compiled from public sources, travel reports, and research materials available as of 2025. Some facts are presented as analysis, inferences, or metaphors to illustrate the overall socio-economic picture, and are not intended to be absolute statements or accusations against any individual, business, or organization. The video does not represent the official views of any agency, organization, or brand mentioned. All information should be understood within the context of reflecting, analyzing, and sharing independent perspectives, serving educational, research, and public discussion purposes. Viewers are encouraged to verify information from official sources and make their own objective personal judgments.